Hey there, this is Ricky Jones of Leaders That Follow. This is day 6 of the Lenten Challenge, 40 days in the desert, walking through Lent with Jesus and Job. So today we're on chapter 6 of the book of Job. We're going chapter by chapter through the book of Job. We're on day 6, which is chapter 6. And today we hear, again, a continuation of the first reply of his first friend, Eliphaz. So he's again, talking to Job, trying to comfort and console him. And even though he's trying to be encouraging and to provide hope, Job is stuck in his suffering, right? He's going through an intensely difficult time. We understand that, but he's not having it. He doesn't want to hear anything that he has to say. And so oftentimes when we're in the midst of struggle and darkness and the storms of life, it can seem that it's overwhelming. And Job is essentially depressed in this situation after all that he's lost. He's lost everything. He explains that it's because of the pain that he's going through that he feels this way, right? And even though his friends are there, they're present to him, they're trying to console him and everything, he still feels alone. I mean, he's lost his family. That's understandable. And so Job says this. He says, "Have I no helper? And has my good sense deserted me? A friend owes kindness to one in despair, though he has forsaken the fear of the Almighty." So Job is saying that he feels deserted by his companions. They're there for him. They've been there. They're trying to be present to him in his suffering. They're trying to share words of consolation, but he still feels alone. And this takes me back to the story of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. So on the night Jesus is betrayed and arrested, he goes to the Mount of Olives, to the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples, and he says, "I want you guys to stay here and pray for me. I'm going to go ahead and basically pray to God." And so Jesus goes to pray to God in silence, alone. And this is where we see that scene where he's sweating drops of blood, and he's trying to unite his will with the perfect will of God. Yet he seems to be having the most difficult struggle of his life. And this is when 3 times he goes back to check on the disciples and he finds them asleep. So in the most difficult time of his life, Jesus finds his friends asleep. And so he feels abandoned, lost, alone, without anyone there to support him. So obviously that's part of why it's an agony of the garden, because his friends have abandoned him. He's realized, I'm on my own here. And then after that, he's betrayed by Judas. He's arrested. He's taken before Pontius Pilate, who scourges him. He's crowned with thorns. He carries the cross, and he's eventually hung up to die on the cross. And again, where are his closest friends? Where are his disciples? They've all abandoned him. They've all ran away. The only ones left are his mother, some of the women, and the beloved disciple, the disciple John. So he felt deserted and abandoned. That's the same thing that Job is saying here. He says, "My companions are undependable as a wadi, as water courses that run dry in the wadis. Though they may be black with ice and with snow heaped upon them, yet once they flow, they cease to be. In the heat, they disappear from their place." So although we might think that, we've got lots of friends to depend on, when things heat up, when the going gets tough, that's when we find out who's really there for us. And a lot of times the people that we expect to be there for us are not the ones that show up. Sometimes we would expect our family, the ones that are closest to us, will be there for us. And a lot of times it's not our family. A lot of times it's somebody else. So I think of the purifying fire, the refiner's fire, where the gold and the silver have to be heated to super hot temperatures to purify them, to get all the impurities and dirt and things out of them. And that's when we're left with the pure and solid gold. Well, that's the same thing that suffering does for us. It's a purifying fire. And I say fire because it hurts, right? Suffering is not fun, but it purifies. And that's what Job says. He says, in the heat, they disappear. So, think about Facebook. Maybe you have thousands of friends or hundreds of friends on Facebook, but how many of those people are actually true friends that you can count on in a difficult time? Not to just like your videos, but who are actually going to be there and show up for you and comfort you in the difficult times. Well, those are the true friends, right? So Jesus saw this during his passion. Job saw this during his suffering. And we see in the book of Proverbs, a friend is a friend at all times, and a brother is born for the time of adversity. So think about the people in your life today, people who are your true friends, people who are there for you in the difficulty, and thank them for their friendship. Go to them and specifically say, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being a true friend. That's a challenge today. I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day.